FC supporters, thank you once again for your patience. Both teams have agreed to play two 30-minute halves. Kickoff is estimated for 9:50.
And we say good evening here at Mafre Stadium as you're looking at live pictures of Deportivo Saprissa and Columbus Crew Soccer Club warming up their international friendly. Slated to kick off at 7 o'clock, but Mother Nature had other ideas. A 2-hour, 20-minute severe weather delay. Lightning just hung over the fairgrounds at Mafre Stadium for the duration of that time, but it is cleared out. Saprissa is on their North American tour before they start their season, which is the Apertura 2018. That'll begin July 22nd. And so with the lengthy delay, the clubs have decided they'll play two 30-minute halves with a 10-minute halftime that will kick off approximately 21 minutes from now at 9:50 Eastern. Neil Sika, Dwight Burgess will have the call for you right here on ColumbusCrewSC.com. As warm-ups continue, kickoff in 20 minutes, and each team will play a 30-minute half with a 10-minute halftime in between. Expect Columbus to go with two different groups over the course of those 30 minutes as they get ready to hit the road again and head out west to take on the LA Galaxy for MLS play on Saturday. So we'll have this international friendly, which is the 5th meeting all time between Columbus and Deportivo Saprissa, the first division of Costa Rica, in 20 minutes time. Glad you're aboard on ColumbusCrewSC.com. We'll rejoin you for kickoff at 9:50.
QSC supporters, on behalf of Precourt Sport Ventures, the front office staff, and the players, welcome to Mafre Stadium, the first soccer-specific stadium in Major League Soccer and a premier entertainment venue. But most importantly, home to your Columbus Crew Soccer Club. Crew SC would like to extend a special welcome to all of our season ticket members. Thank you for your continued support. Major League Soccer at Mafre Stadium promote good sportsmanship by athletes, coaches, and spectators. Please refrain from throwing objects onto the field. Keep in mind, this is a family-friendly environment, so please keep all language PG. Remember, you must remain in the stands and off the pitch. Disruption of play of any kind, and this includes blowing whistles from the stands, is strictly prohibited. Any spectator entering the field or interrupting play in any manner will be ejected and subject to arrest. Smoking is not permitted in the seating area. Be courteous to your fellow supporters and take your cigarette break somewhere else. Remember, the match balls are not souvenirs. If one happens to fly your way, help the ball kids out and lock the ball down to them. We hope you have a great time at Mafre Stadium, and we encourage you to do so safely. Consuming alcohol is for those 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly. Thank you for your cooperation. Please direct your attention to the video board for the Deportivo Saprissa starting 11, presented by Sheraton Capital Square.
We welcome you back to Mafre Stadium International Friendly on this eve of Independence Day in America. Neil Sika, Dwight Burgess, glad to have you aboard. Columbus Crew Soccer Club, Deportivo Saprissa of Liga FPD, the Costa Rican First Division. 34-time champions of the top division in Costa Rica. And they're one of the premier clubs in CONCACAF as well. Fifth meeting all time between the two clubs. This the first in the friendly form. Others have been in the CONCACAF Giants Cup and CONCACAF Champions League. So we haven't had any MLS weather delays, Dwight, but we sit out a 2-hour, 20-minute version here for this friendly, and the diehards, the faithful, stick around, and they'll be entertained for 30 minutes per half, and then a 10-minute halftime, because Saprissa, they're getting loose, getting ready for their season as they take the field here with Columbus, and the Crew just want to stay sharp going into the weekend and the long trip to LA.
And I think it's a great thing that they've done for the fans as well. Either team could have made a legitimate argument that having been in the midst of our warm-ups and then getting cut off the field and being cold to have to come back and prepare again might not be in the best interest of the participants, but both agreed to go this route, and a ton of folks have stuck around Mafre Stadium.
Here are your national anthems. Star Spangled Banner proceeding at Himno Nacional, the national anthem of Costa Rica.
I really like that. It's like Pepe March. It is. Everybody's happy.
We had to stay alert after waiting out that severe weather delay, but we're ready for some soccer. 2 30-minute halves tonight and a 10-minute halftime. Neil and Dwight with you here on ColumbusCrewSC.com. Starting 11 for Greg Berhalter's team. It'll be Hector Jimenez as the left back, Lalas Abubakar, and Josh Williams, who's coming back from concussion, will join Abubakar in central defense. Connor Maloney, who was in the 18 over the weekend, he'll be the right back. John Kempen is in goal. Will Clark Will Trapp, Ricardo Clark, are in the midfield. As you see, Trapp, the captain tonight, with Michael Barantes, who's the Saprissa captain.
Midfielder number 16, Hector.
52 caps with Costa Rica and
number 17,
2 gold cups.
Running out of shelf space
for the Ticos, yes.
for all those caps.
midfielder number 20,
Mike Grella, Eduardo Sosa, and Edward Opoku will be the attacking midfield for Columbus. Chelsea Zardes up top. So it's Zardes with Grella, Sosa, Opoku, Clark, Trapp, Jimenez, Abubakar, Williams, Maloney, and Kempen is in goal. Vladimir Quesada is the head coach of Saprissa. He was the caretaker manager, actually took them to the Clausura title of 2018, so that was the summer season, and now they're getting ready for the Apertura, so it goes 18 into 19. Bringing back a lot of veterans off the group that won the 34th title, which was 22 games long, and then they play another 4-team tournament. A playoff is needed if the same winner of the regular season doesn't win the quadrangle. Here's the lineup for Vladimir Quesada. It will start Aaron Cruz in goal. It'll be Alejandro Cabral and Heikel Medina pairing in the back, along with Barantes, who is the captain as previously mentioned, and Jalen Hayden. Marvin Angelo, player of the tournament in the championship side from just this past season for Costa Rica. He wears the number 10. He's in the middle. Mariano Torres, we've got to start with Boca Juniors youth. Ricardo Blanco, Luis Stewart Perez, Randy Chirino, and David Ramirez in the attacking 3. Quesada prefers a 4-3-3, and Saprissa is in white. Fireworks going off in the background, both north and south. What we understand, Red, White, and Boom is still on here in Central Ohio, as is this game underway with Columbus in the Sunshine Strip, the Banana Kit, and Saprissa in white. They were 13-4-5, finishing second in that Clausura of 2018, but won the 4-team round robin to head to the playoff, where they beat Herediano 2-1 on aggregate to take their 34th title. That ball flying in off the right boot of Opoku. Got his first crack at the game day 18 on Saturday. We saw him in the Open Cup, where Columbus fell on penalties right here in that epic shootout to Chicago. Seen a couple of epic PK shootouts as we've been watching the World Cup, haven't we?
It has been a late spring, early summer of PKs, no question. Despite the rain, and there was at times heavy rain, but there was some real dangerous thunder and lightning.
Torres playing a through ball. The ball in the box with Kempen giving up the rebound off the save. It's a good one, and then Abubakar shields in front. Fireworks from Saprissa right off the get-go. They're 3 weeks away from the start of their Apertura 18 campaign, and Kempen is forced to make a big save. That was a beautiful through ball sent by Torres, and he picked out Jalen Haddon, who cut inside and let it rip.
Kempen got both hands to the ball on the extension dive to his right. That shot otherwise was targeted for the back of the net, so a good first offensive thrust for the guests from Costa Rica.
Torres had 10 assists in his Saprissa tenure. He's played all over South America, Bolivia, Argentina, Brazil, and even a lone spell in Austria. He's the one who had the pass. Haddon is only 20 years old. He's been in camp with the U17s for the Ticos. Only 20 games in a Saprissa uniform.
I was about to mention that even though we got some rain, some loud thunder and lightning,
there's some speed here from Opoku as that raises high again, so that's twice the rookie from Virginia. Maybe a little amped up.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not running target tonight. But the point I'm trying to get to simply is the field is pristine. There's not so much as a puddle anywhere on the field. The temperature has dropped. It's still humid, but for this, in many respects, a controlled scrimmage of 2 30-minute halves.
Brandon Artis is our referee. Man in the middle of the night, Jimenez throws in. Columbus taking on Monstro Morado, the Purple Monster. That nickname given to Saprissa back in the late 80s.
Countries around the world near are represented by storied badges, there's no question, but I think it'd be hard to prove that there's any domestic club that has dominated their home country more so than Saprissa has.
No doubt about that. Won 6 consecutive titles that really set them ablaze back in the 70s. And they've got 5 championships, of course, in the split seasons where you play 22 games going back to 2014. Abubakar got the timing wrong on that and trying to grab his tread as Ramirez, who's had a couple of nice Gold Cups in his career, including scoring twice, lets it fly but wide. He's got 38 goals in his Saprissa career. Actually a part of that Evian team in France with Jonathan Mensah before Mensah came to Columbus. Here's Ricardo Clark. Got a couple of minutes off the bench to close it down on Saturday in the Columbus victory, much needed, against Real Salt Lake. Middle of a 3-game span against the West, Costa Rica. And their most pristine club team making moves here with that shot going just wide as it was chested down and then launched past the target. That's Torres, who in his own right has been a good player. 15 goals for Saprissa in 2 seasons.
Couple of direct attacks, Neil, have put Saprissa in really good shape. They haven't been able to convert yet. But this is the first sustained pressure that they've put together in the opening 5 and change. Conversely, Columbus Crew SC, through that signature Greg Berhalter attacking, has gotten in deep a couple of times, but on each occasion the serve has been much too high and run all the way across the width of the park.
6 minute, we're playing 30-minute halves with the weather delay. That lasted 2 hours and 20 minutes before the teams retook the field to warm up. Abubakar.
The total time, it was really nearly 3 hours.
Sure.
As the game was set to kick at 7 o'clock and got actually started at about 9:51.
Mike Grella. Been on the bench the last 2 games, but hasn't appeared. Goes into a chippy little challenge there.
Be a bit careful. Went in initially, the soles of his feet were showing. No contact, the official right there.
Haddon, Torres. Works it around, Cabral. He's 24. 2 Argentines in this 11. For Vladimir Quesada, who's Saprissa through and through his entire career playing there. 412 games played and was their manager in the early 2000s. Says you have to accept the pressure of playing with a club like this or you don't belong at the team. Zardes.
They have such a home field advantage.
You've been there.
I have, and at that time it was a grass field, but high fencing all the way around it. The stands very close. Really gave off an uncomfortable feel about itself.
And Cueva de Monstro.
What a beautiful country. And really, if you think it's been enough years now,
I hope they updated the phone lines.
I hope so too. But really, before Costa Rica had begun to establish itself as a vacation destination, which has become such a huge part of its economy. But at that stage, it was still a little bit of the sleepy, unknown country.
Grella on the ball here. I kid about your Giants Cup days. What a ball from Sosa. What a grab by Apoku, and what a save out of that clutter by Cruz. Apoku keeping it alive. Sosa. Boy, he's got that sharp eye to send those passes through and really grab the attention of a lot of Crew fans in his performance Saturday in the attack. Wonderful goal, too, which turned out to be the game winner. But the 27-year-old keeper, Cruz, stand strong. So he and Kempen have had to make close-range saves in the attack. Both these teams have started with a little pep in their step after that long delay. No bogging down at all.
Now, part of the delay, of course, is making sure that your body's properly prepared to step on the field, but there's been no real warm-up to this game in a figurative sense. I mean, since the opening whistle has blown, these two teams have gone at it, not kind of playing themselves in.
Trying to play Grella in there was Jimenez. Looking for the Long Island man, coming back after a year and a half worth of injuries. Here's that beautiful sequence, trap Sosa and on through, looking for Opoku.
Yeah, if I was going to say anything about the finish, from that range, when you lift the ball off the ground, you immediately put it into the swing plane, if you will, of the goalkeeper's arms. And because that ball was up off the ground, the save was able to be made. Much more difficult to get down to the floor.
No score, the 10th minute here. Grella sending that toward the keeper, Cruz, but the flag was up anyway for offside. 9 shutouts in 2 seasons with Saprissa for Aaron Cruz, 27. Played for Universidad and Perez Zeledon, which recently won a championship in the back half of 2017. Only 12 teams year to year compete in that Costa Rica First Division. Arantes.
Which in some respects is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You consider the size of that country. You divide that population into a dozen professional teams. But we've all seen, we witnessed it firsthand here, the evolution of Costa Rican football, if you will. We had a darn good center back that
sure did.
Has starred in a couple of World Cups now.
Grella scampers that through. Opoku has that knocked away in the end. It'll be a corner.
That was some good help defense by Medina off the left side. He was having to protect the wide run. The ball was slipped into the penalty area, as you'll see after this combination. Grella flicks the ball into space, and then you can see the recovery run of Medina, and Perez was there as well. So good team defending by Saprissa.
Sosa takes the corner from the Nordeca. Right in front, looking for Clark on the first post. And then Trapp trying to slide that over to Opoku.
One MLS match tonight in Houston, Dynamo home to LAFC, but that one has been delayed by weather.
It's that time of year. Although I think it's rained. We've had thunderstorms the last 4 or 5 Tuesdays throughout the summer here.
I know, it's making a wreck of your golf leg.
It's not good. Giancarlo Gonzalez, you brought him up, Dwight. Comes Costa Rica, the Cinderellas of the 2014 World Cup, advancing all the way to the quarterfinals. Went out in the group stage this time around. Applied his trade at Alajuelense in Costa Rica before moving on to bigger clubs, Columbus among them. Waylon Francis, which was Brujas and Limon, Herediano.
Daniel Torres,
sure,
first to come from Saprissa to Columbus.
And he's good friends with Vladimir Quesada. They were talking about that relationship yesterday.
Well, that's really how Columbus first became aware of him, was in that home-and-home tournament matchup. A different world. For so long, players stayed home, right? Played in their domestic leagues. But not such the case anymore. In fact, of the 32 teams in the World Cup finals, as it's officially known, England is the only side that has all of its team playing in the home league.
Connor Maloney flying forward from the right back role to nod that back. got engaged just prior to Saturday's game. Was in the game day 18 for a third time. Because of course, the most famous, at least currently, Saprissa player in MLS is Kendall Waston, two-time best 11. Sosa stole it, found Zardes on that curling cross in, and Jussie heads it over the bar.
No question, the best flank service thus far this evening. Zardes positioned himself well, and the ball skipped out in front of him. And while he had his body well positioned, still had to adjust a bit. But it was a good 1v1 defending that won the ball, then the pass, and then Zardes trying to get that shot on frame. Game effort nonetheless.
Josh Williams took that away from Ricardo Blanco. Williams back out of the concussion protocol. He missed a couple of games. To the wing on the left, Grella. Down toward the byline. That's going to scoot on through for a goal kick.
And once again, we see the good team defending from Saprissa. That entry pass was on initially, but covered up very quickly.
15 minutes in, normally just a quarter hour having been played, but with the revised circumstances, 30-minute halves. We're at the midpoint. I expect both teams to have some wholesale changes for the 10-minute break upcoming. Ramirez drops back. Apoku. A fast Saprissa team, and Apoku trying to make a name for himself and get a sniff. You never know with the way the wing play is going, but with his speed to get in behind the back line, if he can craft himself into some chances, he might find himself on more game day rosters in the second half of the season. But make no mistake about it, when the secondary window is coming up here over the next week, Columbus will be looking for an attacking player. 16th minute. Kel Medina.
Part of the run-up to this game tonight was the opportunity for fans in attendance to be able to stick around after the match, scheduled for 7 o'clock, to watch Red, White, and Broom. You get a wonderful view from a variety of places in Mafre Stadium, but in particular at the south end. And as those pyrotechnics get rolling, a lot of the fans in the stadium have moved their way above the south end seating so they can both keep an eye on a match while seeing the city fun.
You had a great rain soundtrack, by the way, while we waited out that delay.
We did. We
put it together.
Made the best of it we could.
Trap started this. Zardes carried on. Sosa back around to Grella, and Apoku and Sosa run into each other.
I think Apoku was trying to knock down the header for Sosa, who had started in the center of the box, but then went around behind Apoku, perhaps protecting him in case the cross got above him.
2 caps for Blanco. He brings it up the wing. Ramirez. He's played 17 times for the Ticos. 2 gold cups in 2015 and 17. Around it goes Cabral. Medina. And trying to keep that afloat on that far touchline, but then surrendering in the end. It goes back to Williams. Maloney, second year out of Penn State. He's a big-time scorer there. He's learned to play the right back role. Abubakar. Went to the bench for just the second time in the last 11 games. Gaston Sorrow had his first start since October. And the win over RSL. Here's the second-year man from Dayton, the captain. Now Williams, Clark, Saprissa in white in their purple shade of, well, it looks more like burgundy at times to me, but
it does.
They sit back and look to defend this and then earn the foul. 18th minute, scoreless here, but some excitement on both ends.
Yeah, it's not for lack of trying. That last possession, you mentioned the ball went out to the right side to Williams, brought it in to Ricardo Clark, who effectively at that point was the lead spot and a diamond. As Jimenez had stepped up on the left, Williams was already up on the right. That left Abubakar in behind. Of course, a big part of the Greg Berhalter system is not just the speed of play, but it's the positional discipline, providing space, getting the right passing angles. And of course, ultimately, you're always looking to try and beat multiple lines with a single pass. If you just play behind the forwards and you have to deal with the midfielders, it's more work. If you can get a pass that beats both the forwards and midfielders, now you suddenly put the opposition in trouble. But I like the organization I've seen out of Saprissa defensively thus far. That'll be one of the things to keep an eye on, because we do expect to see a lot of guys play this evening.
It's been 9 years since these two met. Last in the Champions League. Maloney after volley hit the post. What a pass from Clark.
If only he was still in Happy Valley.
Oh, so close. Some narrow misses. And Opoku with a heavy foul on the collision on the wing out there.
Well, I like the word you used, excitement. There has been excitement at both ends. It's a great ball from Clark. The overlapping run, well, he takes that ball full volley on stride, didn't try to bang it. Just hit through the center of the ball, which kept it down, and unfortunately into the post it went.
26 goals when he was at Penn State. Had a little bit of a lone spell with Pittsburgh, the old USL affiliate, the last 2 seasons for Columbus. Had a couple of games there. Jimenez.
Got another look at that missed opportunity there. But still a very good attack, and Saprissa's been making it difficult for Columbus to really break them down from distance. But that was an early ball over the top.
I was alluding to the Champions League match these teams had in the fall of 2009. It was in group play as Clark is fouled. The famous goal by Eddie Gavin to win the first leg of the home and away within round robin action. Not many teams had succeeded in going to the Monsters Cave and walking away with 3 points. That includes the United States when they play Costa Rica there.
Well, and it's turf these days, which probably in that country makes sense.
It was turf. They converted back 2 seasons ago to grass.
Well, then see, there you go. I'm not keeping up with my Costa Rican first.
We gotta just get you back there. Let's go do a game.
Sure. As long as I have a hat.
Yes. Just not Panama for you, right?
Yeah, well, and to your point, it was news when they went to the turf, but they were having trouble keeping the grass surface playable because, of course, you do get rain there, and it can be heavy at times. But technology, I mean, how many times do we have to say the number of people from all over the world that come and take a look at what happens here at Mafre Stadium? I mean, it's just unbelievable. All the talk about the $300 million plus new LAFC stadium, which is pretty and has all the bells and whistles, but the only thing the players can't worry about is the field on which they're playing, and it's not as good as this one.
Well, it's not in good shape. We'll see how the StubHub Center is when Columbus heads to the South Bay this Saturday. They're expecting record temperatures this weekend in LA. It's supposed to go over 100 degrees.
It's crazy.
Both Friday and Saturday, yeah. Cooler by the evening, but
it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. You adapt to it. Minute 23, no score here. The flag's going to go up on Ramirez. He was offside.
Yeah, making a lateral move towards the strong side of the field, this being the left on that attack, but didn't complete his run before the ball was played toward him, and no doubt he was in ahead.
Stadio Ricardo Saprissa. Yeah, they had that artificial turf, as Dwight was alluding to, for 10 years, 2004 to 14, and they went back to grass in 2015. That stadium opened in 1972. Robbie Rogers converted a penalty in the second game, that home leg against Saprissa. Columbus would get out of the group. They lost to Toluca in the knockouts, 5-4. In their 2-year spell in the CONCACAF Champions League, the only time the club has been in that continental competition, the current version as it is, which has changed its format time and time again. But the Giants Cup, it's quite interesting, as Clark looking for a Poku. Columbus got in based on attendance or something, correct? Wasn't that the case back in 2001 when I read something along those lines?
They had to sell, tiebreakers and so on and so forth. And they've had some interesting games. I'll never forget the match in Panama. That was played 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody melted.
Welcome to the
Literally.
equator.
Yes. Trap. Although that was a...
Look at Maloney scrapping his way as he rose, and then caught a part of Medina, and Maloney is called for the dangerous play foul there. Just over 5 minutes till we get a 10-minute break or halftime. A 60-minute game instead of 90.
So the game in Panama, on the score, it was fairly close, but that game was over 15 minutes after it started. The home match here in Columbus went much better, but I think the most disappointing was the home with Morelia and going down there and getting smacked pretty good. It's another look. It's a lovely little ball in from Trap, a couple of guys battling for the header, and then the follow-up contact.
There's the hand swiping around.
Yeah, bringing out a little ice, I think, to help out Medina, that funky cold Medina, get him back into the game.
He may be cut. He has braces. Talking to him yesterday, speaks very good English. And maybe the swipe of Maloney forced a little bit of a cut.
About 5 minutes to go here in the first half. If you joined us a little bit late, glad to have you on board. Match was delayed almost 3 full hours from the original start time of 7 due to heavy storms. And the teams agreed to play, but they're doing it in 30-minute halves and a 10-minute halftime.
That's indeed part of the benefit, with everyone having a day off tomorrow with the lengthy delay. Some holiday soccer.
Well, and as any good coach is going to do, Neil, that this is one that you kind of put in your hip pocket. Okay, we went through this lengthy weather delay. In an MLS match, they're going to sit around and wait until they can get the game in. They're doing that in Houston right now. So now these teams have had that experience in a friendly situation, but they'll be able to give good feedback, about their ability to go through warm-ups and then sit for a couple of hours and come back up and prepare again to play. And that's a lesson to be carried forward.
27 minutes gone. No score. 3 minutes remaining in this abbreviated first half. Into a Poku. Clark looking long. Cruz is out. Cabral playing in the second division of Argentina the last 4 years. The right back sent it to the keeper. Cruz long. And Abubakar. Now for Williams. Here's Saprissa with some pressure. Good infield pass, Jimenez.
Nice turn.
Nice pass. Zardes, 1-0. Started with Jimenez. Furthered on by Sosa. And Zardes whether it be a league game or a simple friendly, keeps his goal-scoring form rolling at home. 1-0 Crew as we hit minute 29.
Early in this first half, Saprissa got in very dangerous position a couple of times by going fairly direct. This was not direct in terms of a 40 or 50-yard pass, but it was a series of passes over distance. Jimenez gets the outlet from Kempen, finds Sosa, the back half of the center circle, who turns, accelerates through the center circle. A great entry pass to Giassi Zardes, who then throws the pump fake. Goalkeeper Cruz touches the ball around, and before help can arrive from Cabral, the Cruz leading scorer slots it in, and the home side up 1 in the final moments of the first half.
He's going to make sure that there was something else to talk about outside of his homecoming after this game.
He doesn't really want much of that, does he?
We're in the 30th minute, and the rhythmic clap is Giassi Zardes, but the play was made by Sosa. And I don't know about you, Dwight, the first time I saw that kid play in Hawaii, there's no wasted touches with him. He'll get it where he needs it, turns and goes, north-south. Very fluent player.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed about him thus far, is his ability to turn with possession. You know, a lot of guys have to slow things down, but he doesn't. And you look at him, and he's, you know, certainly highly fit, but he's stocky, right? I mean, he's a solid guy. Think of Christian Martinez. So not the fastest of foot, but as coaches talk about so often, if you can consistently play fast, you can be successful. And I think back to Brian West, who during his time here in Columbus was considered, for a while anyway, it's the fastest guy in the league, but once teams got familiar with that, they really just defended for it.
Here's the Venezuelan again, looking for Grella, and into the parking block known as Blanco. 1 minute of additional time here in the first half of these 30 minutes.
It was a good tackle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You bring up Christian Martinez. He was not on the bench, nor is he tonight. He was getting his green card actually earlier in the week in Panama. That'll conclude the 30 minutes, the abbreviated half here in Columbus between the Crew and Deportivo Saprissa. Zardes scoring at the final minutes of the first half on great passes by Jimenez and Sosa. It's 1-0 Columbus. We'll pause here on ColumbusCrewSC.com and come back with the second 30 minutes after this.
You're correct. Supporters, let's hear it for DJ Access, who is on the north stage, rocking Mafre Stadium.
You see Edward Opoku, the rookie from
Make sure to
Virginia,
follow DJ Access on Twitter and Instagram.
who was
@DJ
very
Access
wiry
Music.
in the first 30 minutes. Jossie Zardes' goal
Supporters,
in
get
minute
on your feet.
28.
It's time for the Orange Crush
The
t-shirt
30-minute
bid.
abbreviated
The Ohio
half
Health
is the
Action Team
difference.
Searching the stands for the craziest, loudest, and
Assists
proudest
from
USC
Jimenez
supporters. Make some noise
and Sosa. Neil and Dwight with you for the start of the second half.
USC t-shirt. Thanks to
Between
Orange
Columbus and Deportivo Saprissa. Right now it's just Sosa standing with the assist. Both teams with 4 shots. Columbus with the only one on target. Kempen had to deal with a stingy, sharp cross within the opening 3 minutes of the game. Argudo, Hansen, Affel, Gaston Saro, Pedro Santos. Those are the Columbus changes. Artur as well. Jimenez, Williams, Maloney, and Opoku remain from the 4 that played in the first half. And Saprissa also working some new personnel into the mix. So the second 30 minutes underway. Hope your mid-holiday week is off to a great start. And enjoying some crew soccer on this Tuesday night.
Entering the game, number 30, Logan Ketterer. Number
Logan
19,
Ketterer also
Number
in net.
22, Gaston Sauro. Number 25,
Last playing in the Open Cup.
Number 7, Artur. Number 28, Nico
Been on the bench
Hansen.
behind
Number
John
26,
Kempen the last
Luis
3
Argudo.
games with the
And
injury
number
to
9, Pedro Santos.
Zach Steffen. Through ball is cue-balled, and then Maloney goes right back towards goal, and Aaron Cruz snatches it away from everyone. Columbus had runners. Harrison Affel starting the play.
Bright start to half number 2.
And how about this, Dwight? Harrison Affel in midfield.
Well, he kind of plays there anyway.
Yeah, right? He kind of tucks in, but more of a natural role.
Well, it's more good minutes for Gaston Saro, no question about that. Poku gets to run some of the changes you just mentioned. Zardes from Sosa, by the way, is the game's lone tally. It came officially in minute 28. Both teams credited with 4 shots in the first half, 2 of those on target. Not an overly physical half, no cards issued. You really don't expect it in this sort of an outing.
This is the same Costa Rican side lineup for Saprissa that began the game. And Vladimir Quesada had mentioned yesterday he wanted to go about 60 to 65 minutes with the guys starting the first go-around, so they may just take the entirety. They still have exhibitions for their preseason. They'll take on Minnesota United and River Plate as they're queuing up the start of their Apertura 18 campaign, which starts on July 22nd. They'll host Santos of Costa Rica, that is. Angulo or Torres, those two kind of pull the strings in the Saprissa midfield. Medina took that little smack in the mouth inadvertently by Connor Maloney, but he's back to normal. And Opoku was aggressive enough where he earns a corner here in the first 3 minutes of this second half.
Finally going to get that lone MLS match of the evening started. Houston home to LAFC. Storms shut that down for more than 90 minutes.
On the header, Josh Williams. Great ball in, 2-0. Pedro Santos had the game-winning assist to Sosa on Saturday, and had an excellent ball in that Williams, coming back from injury, deposits with ease.
So a couple of goals for Columbus on either side of halftime.
USC goal scored by number 3, Josh.
Crew will be off tomorrow. They'll resume a training session on Thursday before flying to the West Coast. This is always the topic of conversation playing these summer friendlies. But if you're a performer, you want to be out there as opposed to going through the same old drills time and time again. As Ramirez, off the turnover, turns that shot right at Kempen. A little unorthodox with the start time tonight, but night soccer is always fun, and you get a look at Williams knocking that in.
10 times out of 10, players are going to opt to play a game just to get a break from training, keeping in mind that they reported in late January. So it's been a steady grind, and I'm sure they were far less frustrated about the weather delay by comparison to the supporters here, as they were just anxious to play, and they've had their opportunity to do so.
Good passing out of traffic. And as is the case, it's still about fitness at this point in a lot of ways for Saprissa. Started strong, but have simmered since, and you can see the informed team is taking advantage. Cruz made the save on the Valenzuela shot. Milton is in there. He's come back from Argentina. After giving the opportunity to do so, he was on caution accumulation on Saturday. And Opoku is making a very aggressive run for the rebound. Good start for the second 30 minutes for Columbus. A goal and looking for more. They've doubled their lead, and now Cruz with a basket catch punches away on the punt.
It's nice the way it's all come together. 2 goals, 4 different people involved, and they come from 2 different fashions of play, right? The first one was Sosa to Zardes in the run of play, and then the set piece, the corner, Santos to Williams.
The fluidity here is excellent. Opoku! That pinballed around. Santos found him.
Don't actually think that pass was intended for Opoku. Hansen was to his right and had a much better angle if the ball had just been allowed to come through.
Valenzuela attempting to take that away on the slip. Angulo. 6 times he's played for his country. Also had a little bit of a spell in Australia before returning. Playing for Uruguay of Costa Rica, Herediano and Saprissa. With his team sitting back here and absorbing what Columbus is providing. Precision passing at the moment. Maloney, that's just a step behind Hansen. Opoku was also on the front porch.
Found the first 30 minutes tonight to be relatively even, even though it was Columbus that had the 1 goal. But so far here at the outset of half number 2, it's really been one-way traffic.
Hansen. This can always be an interesting question because your mid-season, people can look at a friendly against a team in their preseason run as something of, well, not a lot of substance, but I go back to last year, the way they played against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Make sure
you build some cohesion. Everyone is feeling pretty confident coming out of that game, and they go on that second half run. And they're feeling good, obviously, with the performance against RSL, where they didn't play their best, but taking on a team that, by and large, most of them are going to play in the CONCACAF Champions League. They were part of the group that won the championship last year. There's something to be said for that, right?
Absolutely. And to your earlier point, both teams are looking to get completely different things out of this.
This is in for Ramirez, and Ketterer was caught in no man's land, and it's not going to stand, though, because the flag was up for offside. Ramirez a good step behind the back line.
So Columbus, certainly, to the points you just made, they're getting a lot of guys minutes. Coming off a win, they went through that run where their offense has been pretty inconsistent, and they've gotten 2 goals here and directly involved 4 different players, different ways. I think that's all good stuff. And for Saprissa, I mean, sure, they want to put on a good showing, but this is a veteran club that knows success, and they understand the method that they're going through right now. This is all preparatory for them.
On the push forward, that shot was headed towards goal. It went off of Artur. Mariano Torres took it. Played youth soccer with Gonzalo Higuain. Look, was he offside?
At first I thought he was, but now watching the replay, not the best angle certainly, but looking at the feet and where they were relative to the top of the penalty area, looked pretty good.
Fine job by our camera crew slowing that down so we could have the inside track. Ketterer launching in the air. And snatching that away. Played very well in the 120 minutes against Chicago. Admitted that didn't have his best when it came to the PKs, but it was new territory that linked for him. Maloney. Infield, Affel. He's acting in the Will Trapp role here in this half.
Those are some shoes to fill for Greg Berhalter's roster. Well, the reality is as exciting as Higuain is, he's the only one of those you have. Will Trapp's the only Will Trapp they have on this roster. And there are other capable professionals, Ricardo Clark being one we saw in the first half. But there's a reason Will Trapp was named captain of this squad when he was almost young enough to be the kid of some of the veteran guys.
For so long they've waited to find depth at the attacking midfield position with Higuain, and it's a small sample size, yes, but what you've seen of Eduardo Sosa is something they really haven't had for anyone who's played that position, with the exception of Higuain, in the past 3 or 4 seasons. And he's coming along. He's only played 5 games in 1 start. We'll see how Higuain's bruised hip is come weekend, and if he's ready to play.
Bunch of changes coming for Saprissa.
Steering that around, and with the shortened game, Vladimir Quesada is going to bring on 5 substitutions. It's the 42nd minute of 60 here tonight. 3 minutes into the second half, Josh Williams rising on a Pedro Santos corner to make it 2-0. Zardes in the 28th from Sosa. Here's Saro. Portuguese winger going 1-2 with Argudo. Here is the rookie from Wake Forest, Luis Argudo. Everything but a shot. And Apoku doing the splits in the end just to keep that alive. Send it back out. Saro with the grab of the jersey. In most circumstances, that would warrant a yellow card.
It still might.
Brandon Artis, will he get to him in time?
More than 90-minute delay in Houston because of storms, as we get 5 Saprissa changes. But despite the late start, visiting LAFC needed 4.5 minutes to get on the board. Blessing gets the goal.
14, Jacob Medina.
They're rolling right now, LAFC.
It's a good run here. A nice little pass into the box, cut move. Now you're going to have to shoot. A little bit surprised. In that tight of space, Neil, generally speaking, if you're going to make the pass, it has to be as early as possible, because the longer it takes, the more crowded the space gets, because everybody's compacting.
That's a point you've made for the young rookie Argudo on a few occasions. He's quick, ball security, but sometimes in learning the speed of the game, lingering with the ball at his feet when to make the decision, when to pass, when to shoot, the extra touch.
Absolutely, and that's why coaches in training will sometimes do exercises where there are multiple goals, or often called gates. And there may be times when you actually have 2 soccer balls in play. All of that is in part to force everything to be faster, because you never really can fully replicate match speed in training. So you do those things that you can.
Ketterer couldn't clear that all the way. Luis Stewart Perez, 5 substitutions for Saprissa. And we'll work those in for you. One being Juan Bustos Golobio. He came on for Marvin Angolo. Barante still out there, the captain. As is Cabral. He's to the left of Barantes, but choosing the midfield instead. He wanted Juan Guzman.
Mentioned Columbus taking tomorrow off, which is going to time out really well. So there's a heat advisory, much of the Midwest, in fact, heading towards the East Coast, and not just the temperature, but it's the humidity. I mean, we're at that time of the year now where humidity is up well above 70%. And the forecast, at least for the moment, is triple digits tomorrow. But it'll be a different kind of heat than what they're going to face in LA, who is also expecting very hot temperatures, as you pointed out.
Valenzuela down the line, Opoku. And look at him rev the engine. Barantes shielding that back and returning it to the keeper, Cruz.
And really the first time we've been able to see Opoku in that space really accelerate.
He is fast.
Yeah, he is. He had those feet working.
Perez is pinned into the corner. Turns and sends it out. Josh Williams having his arm being held by Julian Cordero. The 17-year-old has 1 appearance in league play with Saprissa. Some young and some veterans on this preseason trip. Good step forward, Sorrow.
Yeah, a couple of unforced turnovers going each direction.
Well, that's the thing with the team still gaining their fitness. Everything's slower to the secondary ball for Saprissa, and Hansen trying to act on it, but he stood up at the top of the box. Christian Martinez, of course, no relation to Columbus's version. This 24-year-old is Costa Rican.
You notice
there since 15.
Sorry, Neil. You notice the spacing by Saprissa when they have the ball. Sort of a modified 4-3-3, but at the moment they're keeping 4 defenders back. If you're going to do that, if you're really going to play with 3 true attackers, it's absolutely vital that the spacing is right and that the midfield doesn't come up too far. The spacing isn't simply within a step or 2, both horizontally and vertically. You've got to allow room. Otherwise, you just get in one another's way.
Kind of timed up perfectly tonight at halftime, where Red, White, and Boom, the main attractions going on at the south end of the stadium, people could watch during the 10-minute break. All works out in the end. 48th minute, about 12 to play. 2-0, Sorrow. Logan Ketterer. Stand out collegiately at Bradley. As he sends that to midfield, Cabral. Golobio. He's dealt with a lot of knee injuries in his young career already. Still has played for Costa Rica 5 times. Harrison Offel nudged in the lower back by Cordero.
It was really well done in the box to get that ball from chest to foot. Williams had good position and was disciplined on his timing, waited till the ball dropped to the ground, and then made his move.
Williams is wearing the armband. since traffic went off after the first 30 minutes.
Reminiscing a little bit about crew travel in the past. I mentioned it was really, really hot in Panama. Like stupid hot.
Plus, you were told to stay within the confines of your hotel in Panama City, right?
Yeah, it was tightly regulated. And overall, a good experience. Clearly the home side made the most of it. They had a 1 o'clock kickoff and far more accustomed to those types of conditions, and it paid dividends. But it was also limiting because they weren't going to get that on the backside.
Valenzuela, right idea, going for Affel. Barante stood in the passing lane. Now Martinez to the outside. Guzman held that up. Perez. Yes, the days have changed around continental travel, especially with the frequency where MLS clubs now play in the CONCACAF Champions League. Of course, you regulate and find league-wide charters. It's just going to make it easier on everybody, especially when it comes to those scenarios. Advantage given here. 51st minute. Played to 60 tonight. Got a late start. Kicking off just before 10 o'clock Eastern. 20 minutes till 7. The lightning came. The heavy rains followed. And just lingered and lingered again. Columbus, this attack has looked sharp at times tonight. Santos, one extra touch too many. Blanco to Colobio. Holding it up is Ramirez. Two more substitutions coming for Quesada, the head coach. Walter Cortez, Carlos Villegas, they play up top. Most likely we'll give a rest to Ramirez. He's got 38 goals in 123 Saprissa appearances. Thought he had one tonight, he was offside. Cruz. Perez.
Game's lost some rhythm now that there have been a significant number of changes. There's not enough minutes together at this stage of preseason for Saprissa.
That cross sailing in a bit high over the head of Cordero. Perez turned it back in. Williams out. So we've been talking about all night. It was just an accomplishment to play in continental competition. Saprissa has had success at the highest level. They've won the CONCACAF Champions Cup, or now the Champions League, as they say, 3 times. And in 2005, in the FIFA Club World Cup, finished 3rd. Highest achievement by the Costa Rican side. Only other teams that can say that are Mexican clubs. Barrantes. to no one in particular. 54th minute. Last 3 substitutions coming for Vladimir Quesada's team.
Yeah, I feel badly for the guys. They've been standing there for a while waiting to get in.
Multiple substitutions for Saprissa. Entering the match, number 36, Carlos Villegas. He replaces number 24, David Ramirez.
Get out of this
game,
without
30,
injury,
Cortez.
both teams.
Then 18, Luis Stewart
back to Southern California for the second time in 3 weeks.
The match, number 6,
and then to the opposite side of the country,
5, Alejandro
at New York City on the 14th. On a quick stop back home for a rare summertime home match. One in July and then one in August.
And we're watching some of this Dynamo game right now. They'll be the team coming here August 11th. Columbus will only have, after this LA trip, second time in 3 weeks, one other stint to the Pacific time zone. That's a midweek game in September at Portland. As far as the West is concerned, Dallas, Houston are still on the agenda. Columbus will go to Dallas. Colorado and Houston come here. Santos took it away. And that goes up, up, and away. Hansen's speed will get to it. Infield, Affel. Off the takeaway, Martinez. Inside of 5 minutes remaining. Villegas. Dropping that back. On overlap, Cortez. That's turned over. Of course, Boca Juniors being part of the Saprissa team's preseason slate. Coached by Columbus club icon Guillermo Barros Scalotto. And they'll be on their tour to begin their campaign. They've got the Colorado Rapids in an exhibition. Ferrantes. .34 years old, 4 goals and 7 assists in over 50 games with the Ticos. It's his second spell with Saprissa, where he's played 54 times. Guy captaining the side. Got toward the final third, and now back it goes. Ener Mora. There's number 6, Tuberantes, the captain. Cortez. Saprissa perhaps now just in search of a goal for posterity's sake. Feel good about themselves. Trying to close this thing out. 2-0. Goals on either side of the abbreviated 10-minute halftime for Columbus. Zardes and then Williams.
Well, we don't know what the full plan is for Saprissa moving forward, but I imagine this has been enough work tonight to allow that coaching staff to continue their preparation. And I think Greg Berhalter is going to be pleased. He saw a nice goal finished by Zardes in the run of play, and then a set-piece conversion. Saprissa had certainly better of the attacking in the first half than they have in the second, but I think that has as much to do with the various changes they've made. Did put one in the back of the net here in the second half, but it was turned over for offside.
Martinez. Blanco. One of the few that's remained on the field since the start of the game for Saprissa. Ketterer feels the pressure.
Mentioned red, white, and boom wrapping up, and some of the residue is wafting over Mafre Stadium.
Yeah, I did a double take thinking it might be misting again. No, it's not. Just the smoke. $7,023 making it out tonight. Artur for Valenzuela. It's high, final 30 seconds, told 2 minutes of stoppage time. We'll have the game for you Saturday night. 10:30 kickoff from the StubHub Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the
And we'll be at our
sideline has
best.
indicated
Yes,
that there
we will.
be a minimum of 2 minutes
Alert
of
and
added
ready.
time in the second half.
Because,
Zlatan.
yes, the fans wanted Zlatan, so I give them Zlatan.
You know, it'll be a shame too. Ola Kamara did not play in the California Classico. Their tie with San Jose. He's dealing with a calf injury. Still finding the best fit for him with Ibrahimovic there. Ibrahimovic just had 3 two-goal games in his last 4 outings. Ola Kamara has 6 goals, but we'll see the status of him with his calf come the weekend. Guy who's 8th on the all-time Crew goal-scoring list in just 2 seasons. That's how good he was. Stoppage time here.
I figure if Stern John had stayed after his brief time in the black and gold, he probably would have had on the margin of about 400 goals.
In league play.
Absolutely. And that doesn't count scrimmages.
Yeah.
He had that
Famous
knack.
AC, the all competitions.
Yes.
Cruz. Not out for Robinson, Alexander Robinson.
I believe he had more international goals than Karchmula. One of the all-time old school strikers. Just spent his life right around the edge of the penalty area. And upon receiving the ball, just had an absolute cannon. Perhaps Germany wished he was still playing. So your Croatia, your family heritage.
He could be on a collision course.
That's right. Yeah. My ancestors watched on.
Both advancing.
England finally won a penalty kick game.
And Columbus has a win in this friendly. Job well done in an abbreviated match, 60 minutes. Zardes in the 28th from Sosa. Good open play goal, and then one off a corner 3 minutes into the second half. Josh Williams from Santos. So if you're Greg Berhalter, as he talks to Vladimir Quesada, it's a job well done and one that he can be satisfied with, something of a positive with the day off tomorrow and then the long trip west before they resume league play. Saprissa trying to get it in gear before their Apertura season starts at the end of the month. 2-0 Crew, the final.
Well, I think, as the saying goes, if they're going to keep score, you want to get one more than the other. Mentioned it a couple of times. Bears repeating once more. They got a goal on either side of halftime. The first came in the run of play, Sosa into Zardes. In the second half, with some different players on the field, they scored via the set piece, the corner from Santos, headed home by Williams. They hit the shutout. They got everybody in the game they wanted, and nobody got injured. Doesn't get much better than that when it comes to a friendly.
Tonight's
We had
winning
burgers and dogs and great music. Sitting out that
8-3-2.
almost 2.5-hour weather delay. We hope you enjoyed it. Columbus did so on the field with some good attacking soccer, some excitement each way in this 2-0 Columbus victory. Back with you on Saturday as we'll have coverage of Columbus against the LA Galaxy from the StubHub Center with kickoff shortly after 10:30 Eastern. Thanks to our great crew tonight here at Mafre Stadium on this Independence Day Eve. We hope you have a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Please be safe. For Dwight Burgess, I'm Neil Sika. Thanks for watching on ColumbusCrewSC.com. Crew 2, Saprissa 0, the final. Talk to you Saturday. Until then, so long and good night from Mafre Stadium.